Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's edition of the Gamut Network. What a story we have to share today. And I can't wait to listen as much as you guys are all going to listen. It is an absolute pleasure to welcome to the show Michaela and Maria. Hi, guys.
Hi, thank you so much for having us.
It's so nice to see you. You both look absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you too.
Fabulous. Michaela, let's start with you. I would love, you wrote such a beautiful email to us about why you would be a great guest on the show, and I immediately agreed with you that you would be an incredible guest, but I would love to fill everybody in on your story and your journey.
Okay, so when I was born with it was I didn't have a fibula, so it was called fibular hemimelia, and which means I don't have one bone. It's fibula, and my parents had to make a decision of putting me in a wheelchair or amputating my foot, and they decided to do that because they hoped that I would have a prosthetic and be able to do everything that I wanted to do.
I love that. And Maria, I can't imagine how difficult that was. You just had Michaela, and then you were forced to have to make a decision like this. What was that like for you?
It was a very heart-wrenching decision. My husband and I were trying to have a baby for quite a few years, and Michaela was actually a twin, and I lost the twin. And Michaela is a fighter, so when she came out, and I thought she looked absolutely beautiful. But prior to that, the doctor basically said that, there's something wrong. We think there's something wrong with either the leg or the foot or something. It looks small. And basically asked my husband and I to make a decision whether we wanted to continue with the pregnancy. And we were like, absolutely, after what we had gone through and endured for so many years. So we're very thankful that we obviously would have said yes. And when Michaela came out, everything was perfect. Her heart was great. Everything was working fine. Her brain was perfectly fine. And she came out very hefty and healthy. But she just had a teeny little foot with, as Michaela always likes to say,
2 toes on one foot, and it was a shortened leg.
And it was a shortened leg. And
Okay.
so at that point, we kind of knew ahead of time what was going to happen. But to answer the question, it was a very heart-wrenching decision. We really, it was unknown territory for us. So we really didn't know what we were going to face. We just knew, she made it and she was going to do great things in this world. That's how we felt.
I couldn't say more.
So we named her Michaela because it means closest to God, which is one of the reasons that we picked that name.
Oh, how beautiful and how fitting. And so the journey of Michaela started. And tell us a little bit about life in terms of learning how to walk with a prosthetic. What was that like?
I think that it was very easy for the first time, but then it got really easier to walk in it, and then I just be able to do all the things that I wanted to do. Like, can I give examples?
Of course you can.
Okay, so, well, I like ice skating, I like roller skating. I was on the all-star softball team for 5 years.
No, 2 years.
Oh, sorry, 2 years. And now I'm on a travel team, and it's called the Hanover Heat. I tried out for the dance. 2 years ago, I tried out for the dance. I tried out for dance competition, and I made it. And then now I've been on for 2 years, and then next year probably gonna be my 3rd year, and I love it there. I love playing football. I went to a camp over the summer, and I love playing it and watching it. And my favorite team is the Packers. And I went to
Michaelas. She's a proud supporter.
Absolutely.
And we went to Green Bay for my first time, and then I was actually a real fan.
Oh my gosh. Wow. It's there's nothing that you are not doing. So I'm sure, Maria, that makes your heart so full that clearly you made the best decision for Michaela, and there isn't much she isn't doing. Michaela, out of all of these amazing sports and dancing and everything that you're doing, what has it been like for the kids that are on your dance team or on the softball team? I'm sure you're just Michaela, right? You're nothing different than anybody else.
So since they have known me for like on the dance team, since they have known me for a long time,
Since how long? Since you're
since
about
I was like about 1.5,
Oh my goodness.
they've not been like they don't ask questions because I've already told them like the whole story. So
Yeah.
And she's very open about anything. So if you ask her,
I
she'll
will
tell you her
say-
whole life story. Absolutely.
And that's the way it should be, right? Because
Absolutely.
this is just your story. Like I have a story, like mom has a story, and your story is yours to tell. And I think that that also probably made everybody else around you feel like no big deal. It's just who
Absolutely.
you are. And I'm so proud of you. And I definitely want to underscore that for a second, because that's not always easy for kids to, especially if there's something that is a little different about them, to be able to talk about it. And obviously it sounds like something that you have, it's just very comfortable for you. And it also makes everybody else feel comfortable, because if it's no big deal to you, it's no big deal to them. And then it's just no big deal. And I'm sure you're also kind of probably running circles around them in softball and football. I'm curious, what position do you play in football?
Okay, so I'm not really like an actual position player. I usually would play like the wide receiver or something.
Oh my
Or
God.
I don't know.
Or quarterback.
Or quarterback.
She
yeah.
did those. So this camp that she went to over the summer was called the Wildcats Camp. It's a high school football. The high school football coach runs this camp,
Oh my God.
and
Oh my
she
God.
was begging me because we were actually leaving for Florida that week, and she was already signed up for a different camp, and she's like, "Mom, I don't want to go. I want to go to football camp." So we let her, and there were like high school football players helping out, and she was the only girl there, and she absolutely loved it, and she did very well, which was, really, really a nice thing to see. But she really excelled in it. So I don't know. She keeps trying to get us to let her put on the uniform, but I don't know. We're not there yet. So once
Fair
we get
enough.
the time.
Will you please let us know if it gets to that point, because that is going to be an amazing thing to see.
Absolutely. We'll let you know for sure.
Oh my goodness. And Michaela, tell me about your dance team. What type of dance is it? Do you guys travel?
So we like don't travel like to Florida, but we travel to like Somerset and a lot of like local places. And then so there are some juniors and petites and minis and teens, but we usually do for our this is called production. We do a whole dance together, and usually all dances together. So we do jazz. We don't do ballet. We do tap, and we do like contemporary. Like usually it's that's in the beginning, and then it moves on to jazz, and then it's tap at the end.
Oh my gosh. I'm so curious though. I'd love to know more about how do you manage the prosthetic for like jazz? How are you, in my limited experience with jazz, I remember like the kickball change. That's about the extent of my jazz knowledge. But how is that something that you had to learn extra, or how does that work?
It was sort of like it's sort of like regular dancing. It's just you add a lot of more to it.
Yeah, a little more on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, in regards to your prosthetic, she's asking, do you find some difficulties, or are there any challenges that you're facing? Did you?
Sometimes, like if there's like a hard trick I couldn't do, like I would keep trying until I got it. But sometimes I just can't get it. But sometimes I keep trying.
Oh, I have a very strong suspicion that you don't give up easily.
No, she doesn't.
Definitely not. Definitely
And
not.
one of her strengths is her flexibility. So she's very good at acro. She bends her body in a lot of different weird ways. So it's an interesting element. And sometimes she does it without her foot. So that's very interesting. Not in a
Wow.
dance, but not
Yeah.
in a dance, but you know, when she's at home, she practices it without her foot. It's very interesting to see.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Now I'm adding this to the roster of everything that you do, but I did hear that you were in a fashion show.
Yeah, I was.
Tell me about that.
So I got into be in a fashion show and like sort of like a runway show. So we traveled to
Long Island,
Long
New
Island,
York.
New York, and when we got there, we had to like take some time, like we all talked and tell us. We told who our names were and where we were from, and then we finally got to the point, and then and then we went to this hair hair thing to get our hair done and all that stuff,
Oh,
makeup, and then like an hour after that we got dressed, and then we finally went on the runway show, and it was so fun.
So
and
it was
who was in the show? Who were the other models in the show? Tell me about them.
Okay, so they some had limb differences, like they had one prosthetic, maybe two prosthetics, and some had prosthetic arms, and it was so cool.
Yeah, so the entire runway show was sponsored by LimbKind. It's a foundation for amputees. They provide prosthetic limbs to overseas and the US for people that can't afford them. So this was to sponsor them, and Michaela was asked to do the show with, I believe it was 20 other amputees or limb different people. It was an absolutely unbelievable show. Those may be two people you'd want to speak to as well, Mindy. Jill Smith and Robert Schulman, amazing people. It was a great experience for all of us, to be honest. We were all in tears. My parents came, my husband, my nephew, and my brother-in-law were able to attend. And it was really just I hate to use the word inspiring because it's just not like
I agree. I agree.
It has
We're just people. She's just a little girl.
A negative connotation to it, but
yeah.
They're just people living their lives, and that's really what it was. And it was so nice to know there are other people out there like Michaela, like us, you know, that are just trying to have our kids do the best that they can. And, you know, as parents, you know, moms trying to show their kids that even with a limb difference, they can do whatever they want and just live their lives to the best of their ability. It's not a challenge, but it's challenging and maybe in a very good way. But I think it was important for her to do the show because she did get to see different kids that were similar to her, different than what we see every day. You know, we don't see children here in our town, in our neighborhood that have amputations or prosthetic limbs. And, you know, it was very important for her to bond with those children. And she did make a very good friend. She wants to say her name.
That's what I want to hear about. And also, Michaela, was this the first time that you had met other kids that had limb differences?
Yeah.
Oh, what an unbelievable experience. What was that like for you to see kids that really understood exactly what you deal with on a daily?
It was very, I liked it because I was able to see people like me. Like I would, like, not when people like are not like me, like they have, like when I was on that runway show, I felt like I
were part of something, that you were involved in something that really you understood because it's the life that you live. And you also apparently made a really good friend.
I did, yes, I did. Her name is Bella.
Hi, Bella. Let's give a shout out to Bella.
Bella Smith, how are you?
Hi, Bella.
You can join us on the show too, Bella.
She's a very nice girl. I love her so much. Like when I saw her, I knew that we were gonna lock eyes and be best friends forever. And we finally we took a lot of pictures together. And then we were cheering each other on when I went on the runway, because I was before her. She cheered me on, and then I cheered her on, and then we both they gave out like cookies after, and then we ate them together, and it was so fun.
That sounds like a phenomenal friendship. If you can share cookies, you guys are gonna make it till the end without a doubt. And I love that. And it's so beautiful that you have a friend like that. So that is incredibly special. And I do think that also you are becoming a bit of an advocate,
Yeah.
right? Tell me about that.
So I've done a lot of things for amputees. I think I'm an advocate because I want to show people that they are not different. They can do they can do whatever they want to do and just be their self. And
What was one of the things you did, you and your friend Andrea?
oh yes, my friend Andrea Fletchy. Hi, Andrea.
Hi, Andrea.
Yes, she's my friend at school. We did this creativity fair. Creativity fair thing, the character fair, and we went on our front lawn, and we made we sold lemonade, cookies, and cupcakes, and we
In 2 hours,
in 2 hours we raised $400.06.
Oh my gosh. That's unbelievable. And where did the money go?
It went to Amputee Coalition.
Absolutely amazing. And I bet that made you feel so good that you could help and give back. And that's another thing that, we're trying to do through our show is that, guess what? People with disabilities also can be philanthropic, and we help others, and we're just the same as everybody else. And that is something that you are absolutely living. And I am amazed that you are only in 4th grade, my friend, because you are really something special. And I'm so proud that you were able to join us on the show. But before we go, I'd like to ask all of my guests one final question, and that's about something called a vision board. So a vision board is something that you put things on there, whether it's pictures or words or sayings that inspire you or things that you want to accomplish in your lifetime. So on my board, I have me sitting on Ellen's couch and she's interviewing me. I'm sitting with Oprah Winfrey, and I'm also, this show will be on a network, and we will be having the first ever talk show for people with disabilities. So that's on my vision board. What would be on your vision board? Who would you love to meet, or what do you want to do when you grow up?
I would when I grow up, I want to be either a cardiac surgeon.
Oh gosh, I love that. Go for it.
Yes, or a prosthetist. Because I want people to know that, if they just got out of surgery, I want to talk to them and see how are they doing, and a lot of stuff, and then
because you understand.
I would love to meet. I don't know. I'm thinking.
She's always wanted to meet Amy Purdy.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Amy Purdy, I hope you're watching.
Yes.
I am lucky enough to have met her, and we did a speaking engagement together. We opened up this amazing park called Morgan's Wonderland, which is a kind of a adventure park for kids with disabilities, cognitive, physical. And she and I were there one of the opening nights of the park, and she is as awesome as you think she is, and even more. So Amy, you have a fan here.
Yes.
Let's maybe find a way to reach out to Michaela.
Hello.
Well, Michaela, when she was in 2nd grade, they did a wax museum, 2nd grade?
Yes, we did a wax museum, and I was a party for my wax museum.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna do our best to try to make that connection happen.
That would be great.
I always wished that my best friend would be
Who was it? I don't know.
hold on
You might have to come back to her
Yes.
at another conversation, Mindy.
That's okay. If you remember, you can write me.
Okay.
Okay. But you guys were fantastic. I'm so thankful that you joined us on the show. And the important thing is, Michaela, there's going to be other little girls out there watching you that maybe have are new to having a limb difference or are trying to find their way, and they're going to look at you and say, wow, look at everything that she's doing. She's so happy and she has a smile on her face and she's beautiful, and I want to be just like her. So thank you for being that for many, many other little girls out there.
Thank you.
As well as you, Maria, for showing moms out there that it doesn't get better than this.
That's right. Thank you so much for having us. We really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 If you would like to be on the Gamut Network, please email us at talent@gamutmanagement.com to tell us why you'd be a great guest. And don't forget to like us on YouTube at the Gamut Network to subscribe to hear more amazing interviews. Like us on our social channels at Gamut Management. Thank you again. Bye.